So let's start off. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare the war. 1, 2, 3. Winner, winner. All right, let's get started.
Yo!
Welcome back, everybody. Today we are here for episode 4. Thank you for tuning into episode 3. If you did, if you didn't, you still have a chance. Go back, look at episode 1, 2, and 3. Right?
Yep.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe,
Comment.
comment for sure. Hit that little bell so that you can get notifications when we have new posts. We should be every Sunday. We apologize for the technical difficulties this week. We had some audio malfunctions, so we finally figured it out. Today we are going to be talking about the competition time, right? Competition season, um, comps in general, practice leading up to competitions. Um, we're going to talk about traveling. We're going to talk about showing up and arriving and backstage performing and then the aftermath of all that. Yes.
Yes.
So we have a competition coming up for us April 15th and 16th, a 2-day comp in Utah. And what is it called?
Mount Mountain West?
Mountain
Mountain
West
something.
National
Yeah,
Challenge.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Mountain West National Challenge from Jams. We're excited. I've never been in Utah personally. We've never, done that.
Competed there.
So yeah, don't know what it's gonna look like. Don't know what it's gonna be like, but we're excited.
Yeah,
We're prepping for that. Jams. I love jams comps.
me
Those are,
too.
well, I
They're
haven't
very
been to,
familiar for us.
yeah,
So
I haven't been to a lot of comps like different. I mean, we have, but we haven't. But I just always love jams. Jams is my favorite. So shout
yes.
out to jams. We love your competitions. So let's get into it. Practice time. Yes, we're
Yes.
really. We got about, let's say, 5 practices left. I think with our teams, something like that. So, but we're at the time of the season where we're cleaning things up, finding out, those fine tuning moments.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Small upgrades,
Yeah.
full outs.
Yes. Athletes are, nah, kind of burnt out the last couple weeks just because that's your big push, right? You don't want to be
Yes.
pushing right before a comp like a day or two. We want to be prepared a day or two, like
Yeah.
our last couple practices. So I told our teams, Ember and Blaze, we have a couple hard weeks, and then we're gonna have some good weeks where we're doing full outs, cleaning things up,
Having fun.
having fun, making sure we're confident, making sure
Yep.
we have the strength and the endurance for a 2.5 minute routine 2 times.
2 times.
2 times.
And for the cross competitors, 4 times.
4 times.
6 times.
6 times. Yeah. They're getting prepared though. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that everybody's getting excited and we're getting we're looking good. We're
Yep.
looking good. Our team, one thing I do with our team, is that I told them, hey, we have, like those couple hard weeks. And then we should be able to do full outs day 1, day 2, and see where we
Yes.
at. We do these scenario drills where it's like we do a full out. I tell them, hey, it's day 1. We just got here. We're ready for day 1. Let's see how we go. And if they drop or they don't hit their tumbling or they're not performing right,
Yeah.
doing their motions right. I call them out and I tell them, hey, look, you left all that on the mat.
You tell them what they can improve on, and then usually the second full out, they do a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the second full out, they're like, I let them know, hey, we're behind on the score sheet, right? If we didn't hit 0, we're behind on the score sheet.
Yep.
If in practice we hit 0, I tell them, hey, we might be on top of that score sheet, but they're coming for you.
Yep.
So don't get relaxed, right? And yeah, we work those out in practice. Um, you know, and full outs is good for conditioning. I
Yep.
like full outs to do because, it's part of conditioning, right? How do you feel like during your full outs when you were doing like 5, 6 of practice?
Horrible. I
Yeah.
feel tired, but I think that they're worth it because um I've been I've been on teams where you don't do full outs and then you have to just be expected to hit at competition. And like a lot of kids that are doing full outs, they're like, oh my God, this is exhausting, or I don't like to do them. But you don't really realize how much you appreciate them until you don't have them. And so, like, personally, even though full outs are not always fun and they're exhausting and they're hard and they're challenging, they're worth it. So I feel like if we didn't have full outs, you wouldn't be confident on the stage because you wouldn't really know if you can hit or not. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I like them.
and we don't know what to clean up.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. I learned from Coach Christina. I'm learning from Coach Christina. She has these eyes like an alien. They're like, "Brrr," she can watch like 20 kids at the
Yeah.
same time, and she's trained herself to do that. And she looks for these little things, and she can pinpoint. So I've been trying to do that a little bit more. Because I get stuck sometimes. I'll see a
Yeah.
stunt, and I'm like, oh, hey, cool, that looks cool, and I'm forgetting about everybody else. So I've trained my. I think we've gotten better on that.
Yeah.
To clean up practice and you know, we haven't done 2 day. I've never done 2 day comps as a coach.
Me either.
My kids have never done 2 day comps. We did 2 day comp last time. That was our very first one, WCC in Vegas. And it was different.
Very
You know,
different.
um, you have, when you travel, we're traveling. It's not like an hour away. Vegas is 4.5 hours away. Then we have Utah. It's like 9.5 hours away if we drive.
Yep.
If you take a flight, it's pretty quick, but I've never been in a plane and hey, we're gonna do it the first time. So I don't know how we're gonna feel.
Yeah.
And traveling is a big deal also, You you prepare all this time and then, traveling could be exhausting. Do you ever get
Stressful.
exhausted when you're traveling?
Yeah. You're sitting in the car for a very long time and I don't know. Even though you're not really doing anything, it's still tiring. And then if you're like a coach and you're driving, or if you're an athlete that's like older and you're driving yourself, like
Mhm.
that's probably more tiring too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Showing up to the hotel, unpacking, getting things ready, right? Trying to enjoy the city you're in. Like Vegas, it's hard because you want to go out that night.
Yeah.
You want to go walk the strip, you want to hang out, go to dinner. A lot of athletes do. And then they come the next day and it's exhaust. You could see,
Yeah.
uh-oh, you walked the strip for 6 hours yesterday, yeah?
Yeah.
You could tell. Um,
Or if there's a practice, some teams call for practices like the day before or the
mhm,
morning of or whatever, and
mhm.
that would be exhausting too because then you traveled and then you have a practice and then you have to compete twice. So
Yeah,
then there's that.
yeah, practice before the morning of or the day before.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're necessary. Sometimes we need them. We didn't get enough time during the week. We had kids missing, maybe they're sick or something happened and or things happen. So we have that extra practice and yeah, could get exhausting.
Yep. And also it's good to feel for different floors because like you get used to tumbling on your floor and then like just to feel for a different floor, the spacing, like our mat goes walls to wall. And so some gyms like it's more open and so it just the environment feels different. So just being confident and competing in different places and performing in different places is good too.
Yeah. Yeah, like we didn't always have a spring floor.
Yeah.
Our first season, we didn't have a spring floor, so those were necessary to go hit those gyms up. California All Stars, Vegas.
Yeah.
We went there last time. Thank you guys for letting us, practice in your gym. But the spring floor, we needed it because, especially for our level two tumblers,
Yeah.
doing a back handspring on a dead mat and then on a spring floor is totally different. That
Yeah.
timing, that bounce, that power. So they're necessary.
Yeah.
So you know, um, yeah, you get there, you're tired, you're trying to do practices, you're trying to get walk in the city, looking at things, and the travel alone sometimes exhausting. I know I'm driving the whole time, even if it's 4.5 hours. I'm not a good driver. I'm like, oh my gosh, when are we gonna get there? So I get exhausted, and then my kids want to go run around, do things, you know. So yeah, comps are they're crazy. What happens on the way? What's in my house? It's crazy because we got, you know, packing everything. And the
Yeah.
first thing I put in my car is the uniform. I have a bag, garment bag. I put their uniforms, their shoes, their bows. I check it like 87 times, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, is it in there? Is it in there? And I put that in there first because I can go to a competition in any city and I could buy anything I want.
Yep.
I can buy shampoo. I could buy clothes,
Yep.
right? I could buy a blow dryer, a curling iron, makeup. I cannot buy a uniform.
Nope.
And if I miss that piece of, we miss our pants or skirt or shirt or something, yeah. What do you do? I hope we
There's nothing
never
to
run
do.
into that. So please, parents, if you're listening and athletes, put your stuff in the car first. That's
Yeah,
what I do. This time it's different. We're traveling in an airplane. I've never been in a plane for comps. I never
me
been in.
either.
So
I'm a little stressed for that.
yeah. My
Um,
carry-on bag is probably gonna have the uniforms, and it's
that's
gonna be
nice.
on
Yeah,
me. Yeah, like in a backpack,
yeah.
and
Like
I'll
I'm gonna
just
wear my uniform.
yeah,
Oh,
just wear. Make sure you have everything.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's stressful. I know in our house it gets stressful with that.
Yes.
Do you have everything? Comp is, you can't miss everything. To be prepared physically and mentally is one thing, but you got to be prepared when you get there.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it crazy for you?
It is, but I have like a list. I do the exact same things in the exact same order every time. Like, okay, I cut my hair before because I got a little, I shaved my undercut, and then uh, I pack my uniform, and then I pack my makeup, and then I pack my hair stuff, and it just goes in like a certain order, so I make sure I have everything. And also, I just feel like I'm more prepared that way, and I don't know,
Yeah.
I do everything the same order, so
Yeah, I
I
have
feel like it
OCD.
helps.
I have OCD, and I have kids that don't have OCD and they don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
My
how they
son
do
plays
that.
Fortnite on the couch while we're packing and moving and running around. Like, hey, we got to get in the car. Cool. Let me finish this match.
Yep.
And so I'm just, packing everything. I throw everything in the car. Yeah, it's good. Traveling, driving all the way is crazy. We stop, you stop and stop. And, anyways, that could be exhausting for parents. It could be exhausting for coaches. It could be exhausting for athletes.
Yeah.
And to deal with that is a whole nother level, right? If we went just down the street to Phoenix, um, hour or something away, it's not that bad. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you have these long comps, driving comps, it can affect your team, I believe. I
Yeah.
believe, you get a kid, an athlete that shows up late or the day of because, they're traveling, their schedule is
Yeah.
different. We try to show up a day before, but you know, um, it's hard for parents and with their own personal lives.
Yeah.
So I think it's yeah, the whole comp thing is just it gets stressful. But if when you start doing them, like right now we're kind of used to it, the next comp is airplane.
Yeah.
So something new, something fun to see how that goes. Um, but that traveling can wear on you, and if you're not prepared in the gym, and then you have a long trip and you're tired, that's gonna be a long comp for you,
Yep.
especially 2 days.
Yes. A
Yikes.
lot more stress
Yeah.
if you're like not really prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, and then we get there, the morning of, holy cow. I know parents. I know it is crazy. These athletes don't cooperate,
You have an attitude.
have an attitude. It's early. I don't wanna. Yeah. Holy cow. To get there on time, I hope every team goes through this.
Yeah.
Not really.
But
I hope teams get it together. Not all of our teams are like that, but like for me, when I'm in the moment, I'm feeling like we are a mess right now. We're running around. I'm like, we got to make our call time.
yeah.
We have 6 teams to make call time for. They're all different. We get there, we arrive, um, and hopefully everybody starts trickling in on time. But in the hotel, yeah. I had to learn how to do eyelashes. I learned how to tease the ponytail for our ponytail. Learn how to put in bows, pin bows. Um, yeah, I do all of that stuff. I've learned how to sew so I can sew things if I need to sew anything because we have two athletes in it. My two kids and one my son, he puts on his uniform, does his hair, he's done. That's all he does.
Yeah.
So he gets to hang out. But with my daughter and then my wife, my wife, Crystal, she coaches with us, Ember and Blaze, and the midseason team. Um, but she also has to get ready. And, she don't want to just show up looking like a bum. So she gets comp ready herself. It's like a coach comp ready.
Yeah.
It's a totally different story. So yeah, I learned to do all that. It's fun. I had to that way I can help out and make life a little bit easier and do you get yourself ready?
Um, partially, but my mom helps me get ready. I
Mhm.
like curl my hair and do things like that, but she teases it for me. I do my own makeup, but she puts my lashes on because I'm shaking too bad. I
Yeah.
can't get my lashes on. But yeah, but I'm so like precise about everything, especially on comp days, because I'm like I feel like I have to be perfect because I'm performing and people are watching me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, my hair's crooked, and we sit there arguing. It's usually my hair. I'm yelling at her. I'm like, no, this is wrong, or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Or my cheese is uneven, or it's not high enough, or my bow's crooked, or my lashes are not perfect. I don't know. But we're definitely arguing. But I hear a lot of cheer moms talk about it, so I
Yeah,
think it's common.
yeah. You can see the stressed out cheer moms kind of comp. They're like, you know,
Yeah,
they're like, I just went through a crazy moment right now. Give me a second. Here's my child.
yeah.
I'm gonna go take a break because yeah.
Or
And
sometimes you can walk in the hallways and you hear the cheer moms and the cheerleaders screaming at each other.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm one of them.
yeah. Yeah, one time I cut my own hair all the time,
Yeah.
and so I didn't cut my hair, and I'm gonna cut my hair in the hotel room, and I'm gonna do it the morning of, because why? Who knows what crazy idea I had to go cut my hair in the hotel room the morning of a comp. Anyway, so I did that, and my wife was doing Alyssa's hair, and she put her pony in wrong, and it was all the way done. Her hair was done. I go, Crystal, that's not gonna work. Like it's on, it's just I think it was farther back. It wasn't, and she goes, "Are you serious?" And so it became this big old thing, and I'm in there cutting my hair instead of helping. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Those were one of our most like stressful comp times.
Yeah.
And then we got to. I think it was. I don't remember where we were, but we had to drive. I got caught in traffic, 5 minutes late to the call time. I'm a coach. People are looking at me. I'm like, maybe we're even 15 minutes late. I don't know. Crazy. So I give it to you, parents that have to go through that. I know it's crazy. I know it's like stressful and exhausting. And no matter how much you prepare for it, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this in the morning. This is our schedule, and it never works.
No.
We're getting better. We're learning. My daughter gets herself ready now, so it alleviates some of that. But I feel for you, cheer parents. So keep it positive in the morning
Yeah.
as much as you can because it does get stressful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, we get there and try to get all the teams and make sure everybody's there and everybody has their bow and it's pinned and their shoes and sock covers are on right and stuff. So yeah. Um I don't know. And then we wait. We hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be exhausting sometimes.
Depending on like sometimes the comps run so late or they're off time and then you're waiting for so long and then you're exhausted. You expected to compete 2 hours ago
Yeah.
and now it's behind and then that's exhausting. But yeah, sometimes having fun though, it's good because it relieves all the comp nerves and when you're with your team, um, you're just doing that instead of just sitting there stressed in your little circle by yourself. At least you're with your teammates instead of stressing alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, it's last we went to a comp one time. And no comp's going to be on schedule because
Yeah,
something happens on that mat, right?
yeah,
Somebody might get injured or somebody might throw up or something like that, and they've got to clean the mat or they got to, so that
yeah,
that makes time kind of, it's not always going to be on time. I don't think we've ever been like exactly on time. So you prepare for that. But one comp we were there for like 4 hours late, almost 3 hours. I don't know how long it was. My little team was sitting on the concrete because we thought we were gonna go back for call time.
yeah,
I mean, for to go warm up. And so we're sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, and they're like, "Well, we're behind, so it's gonna be a while." So we went and sat back down. That concrete did something to them, like their bones, their joints. It made them tired.
yeah.
And then it was late. They didn't go until late, and they're like little, you know. So as soon as they performed, I think it was like almost 10 o'clock. What was it? 8, 9,
Something like
10.
that.
I had two teams going, so it was like 9 and 10. And I look in the crowd, 20 minutes later, and the athletes are asleep. They're passed out in their parents' arms. We haven't even got to awards yet. They're passed out. It was
Yeah,
tiring. And so to prepare for those moments is hard, you
yeah,
know. You never know what comp day is going to be.
yeah,
We could prepare and be perfect here. We're hitting zero. We're clean. We're ready. We had a good travel time, right? Everybody was nice on time. We had good mornings. Parents and athletes didn't fight. When you get to the comp and something like that happens,
yeah,
time switches or you're off time and or anything can happen and now you're stressed and running around. So I think
yeah,
comp is always meant to be challenging and stressful.
yeah. Really tests you.
It tests you.
Yeah,
It tests me. Holy cow.
tests me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that same comp. One of our teams was backstage and we got pulled off the last mat, but like we didn't even get our full time and we just had to go compete. And then right after we competed, because like the schedule was all weird, we had to go for our second team for the cross competitors and we barely got a warm up. And so that was crazy too, because usually you take it like step by step, you know, you warm up your stunts, you warm up your tumbling, then you do like your mark through, your full out, whatever your team does. But yeah, to prepare, like to not feel prepared because you didn't get to warm up and then just having to compete, it's crazy too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that was a stressful comp, but
Yeah, they get stressful.
yeah,
And the athletes, it's I feel like it's good for them in a sense, because every comp is different and we can learn how to get past those difficult moments in life and difficult moments in cheer where we're stressed, tired, not focus as much, and we got to go on the mat.
yeah,
And sometimes, backstage doesn't work good all the time. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm on this mat. Oh, hurry, hurry, hurry. We got to keep on schedule, whatever. And you do get kicked off the mat sometimes, and they're like, nope, you're done. Go, go. And you're like, I didn't even get my full time. Oh, you're
yeah,
on. Let's go. Um, and I know one of these comps this year, we were running off the final mat straight backstage, and that team was performing halfway through, and we had to go right on right after they were done. So you know you got to start practicing those things. I think, we've done some of those scenarios.
yeah,
The music gets cut off, right? We
yeah,
had the music cut off Monday. One of our teams, all of a sudden, the stereo just went out. It wasn't on purpose. It was just on an accident. The stereo went out. And the kids just immediately went, started counting,
yep,
finished their routine. Um, and, that was one of our funner, like, hey, let's go hit,
yeah,
let's go do a full out. And everybody's screaming, and we had it all pumped up, and halfway, about a minute in, right, the music cuts off, and we're like,
yeah,
yikes. But they did it, and they never stopped. And I feel bad for those moments because it happens with a lot of teams.
yes, it does.
you know I feel bad in those moments because, um how do you perform by people counting? I know you can get energy from the crowd, but you don't have that music. And then the routine doesn't look the same. Like when they did that night, their ending dance, they were like trying to perform their ending dance to us counting one,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over and over again. And they're like, okay.
And then how are you like guaranteed you're on the right count as well? Because if you're on five and then the crowd starts counting on one, because you know you start your counts on one, they don't know that you're actually on five. So now you're off like a half an eight count. And so I couldn't imagine. I haven't had that happen to me, but that would probably be stressful.
Yeah. Muscle memory.
Yeah.
That's why we work those full outs in those scenarios. Muscle
Yeah.
memory, telling your athletes to full out, quit holding back in your full out.
Yeah.
Don't save energy for nothing. You need to use energy in the opening, in your first elite, when you tumble. You're using all the energy. The times you can rest are those times where you're, about to go into the stunt.
Yeah.
Deep breath. Okay, now we're going. If you're running, tumbling, you do your pass. That's when you rest.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of resting. Like, don't hold out. Those scenarios, those are good for us
Yeah.
because comp day, they hit. Those moments hit you, and you're like, what am I supposed to do?
Yep.
Um, yeah, backstage is crazy. I like it though. You get to see other teams and pumped up and watch how they look, how they're performing, how they coach. I like to look at that stuff. I like to observe. You
The
know.
energy backstage, especially these past few comps, have been really fun though, because there's a lot of teams that are like supporting other teams. I know we went to nationals and one of our older teams, we were warming up backstage and then there was a team cheering us on and things like that. And so that's really fun. And like backstage, when you're in like the tunnel about to go on stage, you're usually standing there with another team and it's good because we usually get to bond with another team and have fun and get to meet them and talk for a little bit before we go on. And that also is just like, it's we make a lot of fun out of like stressful situations and it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I get to talk to coaches, tell them good luck.
Yeah.
I like your uniforms, or hey, you guys are awesome, things like that. And they tell us the same things because that's what we're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
we need to do more of that. We need to be. I know we're in our own moments, in our own like zones, right? We get in a zone and we're like, okay, we're backstage, we're in the zone. Let's get on the mat, let's perform. But it's good to have those moments where a
Yeah.
little bit of reality, like, okay, let me soak this moment in, let me enjoy the moment,
Yeah.
and start trying to enjoy that moment backstage, athletes, because they come and go really quick.
Yes.
We work for months weeks, hours for 2.5 minutes, and you're done. You get
Yeah.
to go backstage for what, 30 minutes, maybe total, something like that, maybe a little over.
Yeah.
You're on those back mats 15 minutes or so, and then you perform 2.5 minutes and you're done. It's over. And you
Yep.
get to wait for your award, you know? And so enjoy those moments, really trying to soak those moments in backstage. And feel the moment of talking to other teams, being nice, being supportive, looking around. I think I used to do it. I used to go in
Yeah.
there with tunnel vision,
Yeah.
um, to comps, and I'm like focused with my team and my athletes, and I missed everything.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little bit better and start to enjoy those moments because I realized, holy cow, it's over. Oh,
Yeah.
we're taking a picture already. Everybody's going home. Awards are over.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was quick. So yeah, enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
Athletes, coaches, parents, when you're waiting, enjoy that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. We get stressed,
Yeah.
but there's also fun in comps. Backstage is a blast.
Yeah. It is.
We try to have fun.
Yeah.
Our athletes try to have fun. They're screaming and yelling and
Yeah. We are.
rooting each other on, trying to be loud.
Little hype circles,
Mm-hmm.
dance parties,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. It's really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It's good when you're prepared.
Yeah.
When you're mentally, physically prepared, you can have those fun moments.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on for this comp, right?
Hmm.
To go in and be really prepared to have fun.
Yeah. And it
So
also builds confidence too, because if you're just sitting there stressed and you're like, oh my gosh, is this gonna hit? Or this stunt's falling or whatever, and everybody's so negative, it's not gonna be like a good outcome overall. Like when you're performing, you won't feel confident. You're like second guessing yourself. So when you're having fun, then you feel more confident and then your performance is gonna be better. Even if you drop, if you look like you're having fun and you look like you're confident, like everybody's gonna want to watch you more anyways.
yeah,
So it's like more intriguing. And then like the judges, you get comments about it too, like um outperforming your deductions and things like that. And so it's just more fun.
yeah, that's what I liked about the 2-day comp. We
Yeah.
got to see our scores, we got to see comments, we got to see things as coaches, um, that we can fine tune backstage or when we get there and prep before and say, hey, listen, we're going to work on this, this, and that. You guys are scoring good on this. Please keep that. Let's
Yeah.
push this. I like those 2-day comps.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be the same. Um, I don't know if it's going to be the same atmosphere, same kind of vibe on this 2-day comp because it's a different organization.
Yeah.
But I feel like it will. We've never done it before. It's our, second one with a different organization, so we see how they do it. Um, but yeah, I like the 2-day comps.
Me too.
You get, I tell the athletes, listen, you go into day one and you hit as hard as you can,
Yeah.
and you try to get on top of the score sheet and score as high as you can. And that way, day two, you come back and you do it again.
Yeah.
Don't slack on the day two, like, oh, we did so good, right?
Hmm.
If something drops and something doesn't hit, and you didn't score, as high as you wanted to, then we really need to outperform ourselves on day two.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and at practice, I know in practice, some of them are, what do you do when you drop a stunt? In those cases, like, it's like, hey, we got to figure it out really quick because we got to get that
Yeah.
score. Because it is about the score sheet.
Yeah.
You got to start thinking about those things, the score sheet.
Yeah. I mean, like our coach tells us, like we compete against our score sheet. We don't compete against other teams, and so we have to outperform our scores from the last comp, and we have to outperform what we did the first day and things like that. And one that's also less stressful too for the athletes if you like keep that mindset, because then you're not like, oh my God, this program is better than we are, and it's like, no, you're just like you have to beat yourself and like. And if you outperform yourself every single competition, then like you are progressively getting better, and so that's just like a better mindset to go into comps anyways. And so yeah.
Yeah. And in the last 3 seasons, this is our third season, ending the third season. Um, my teams, well, they've done it a couple times, but usually we outscore ourselves every comp. And
Yeah.
so that's one of my big goals too is, when you get on the map, I don't, we don't think about the banner. We don't promote like, hey, you have to win. We're gonna win. You're gonna win. We have to win. Those kind of deals. First place, first place. We say score as high as you can, hit your routine, hit zero. That's our first goal is to hit zero.
Yeah.
So, of course, everybody wants to hit zero because then you get your full potential of your score sheet. So you hit zero. and then we see where we lay in the scoring in the judge's eyes. Um, and so when you go into the comp and you want to hit zero, and then you see where you are on the score sheet, and then we come back, right?
Yeah.
I do it with my teams. Coach Christina's really good. She gives us a sheet of all of our teams in both locations and where we score and all this stuff. You know where our score sheet was, where we rank up to our other teams that we have. Um, and then I go over it with my athletes. I show them the video. I show them scores. I don't know if anybody else does that. It helps me because
Yeah.
not that I'm telling the athlete, look, you did horrible or you did great and start, you're better than that. We don't do that. It's just as a whole team, look where we're at. Okay, so we won first, right? We took first. Great job. We hit zero. Here's your performance when you do that. Some comps we haven't done that and we've had deductions and we just didn't perform right and we got to show them because as an athlete if you don't see how you perform, we don't have mirrors,
Yeah.
and so you think you're doing it a certain way and then to go out and see how you did it, does that change the way you go into the next practices and the next
Yes.
comp?
And even like at practices, or sometimes I would do like a private or even just an open gym thing. Sometimes I think I'm like tumbling a certain way, or I'm jumping a certain way, or I'm stunting a certain way. And then I watched back like the video and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not at all what I thought it looked like. And I need to improve this and that. And like sometimes you don't understand what your coach is saying too. Like, um, get your chest together in the stunt that you're doing, but you think that what you're doing is correct, and then you watch and you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Because sometimes you just don't feel it, or you feel like you're doing it right, but then you're really not, and then it just is an eye opener, and then you can also better understand what the coach is saying too, because you could see what somebody's doing is correct and then what you're doing is wrong. So you can also compare the two athletes together. Like I know I compare myself to other people, and not in like a bad way, but just to see like technique wise, oh, that's what they're doing, and that's what I can apply to myself. So I think it's better too.
Yeah. And so I encourage you guys to watch that film if you don't do it as a program, but you can do it as an
Yeah.
individual. I know parents are always recording. Watch that.
Yep.
Watch your teammates, watch yourself, watch how it looks. Oh, yeah, because you do have an I do that as a coach. I look back and like, oh, my vision was cool. I'm up here on the mat. I'm always on the mat, always in the stunt, or I'm always on the mat. I should get off the mat sometimes, but I'm always on the mat, right? And so I have this vision of my routine like this, and
Yeah.
it's right up in my face. And so as a coach, when I go to the comp and I see it, I'm like, oh, that was my vision. Or, wow, I didn't really get my vision across and it just didn't play out as I thought it was. And now I get to come back and I get to fix those
Yeah.
and be like, oh, we were on panel and it just was too far or it just didn't look right. I want you on the line or whatever that case is. Um, and so, yeah, so watch your film back
Yes.
all the time and compare it. Um, let's see, how do you feel backstage and you know that your time's coming up, you're on your last mat, you just did a walkthrough or full out, whatever you did, you're getting ready to go through that tunnel, the back curtain or whatever it is. How do you feel in that moment as an athlete?
Anxious, but also depending on how my warm up went. Um, these past few comps, I've been confident because we've been hitting backstage, because we've been applying ourselves at practices and things like that, and I feel confident in what I'm doing. But there's also times where, like, if you're not hitting backstage, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, we're just not gonna do well. But we have this superstition, I guess you can call it, where we have to drop backstage. So even when we hit our stunts, we're like, okay, put up a prep and drop it, and it's like, so sometimes also I just have to remind myself, okay, maybe dropping is good, because if you drop backstage, then you got all your falls out, just go hit on stage. And so I don't know, it's both ways. I feel confident, but also sometimes not. But we just try to have fun and change everybody's mindset about it, because we don't want a bad run. But if you don't feel good about yourself, you're probably not gonna have a good run. So we just try to change the attitude of the team. And so definitely both
Yeah.
ways, good and bad.
Yeah, I love that Coach Christina does a prayer. I've picked up
Yeah,
on that, and we do a prayer right before.
yeah,
Um, we get in a prayer, we say a little quick prayer, tell everybody, go out there, hit hard, hit zero, and then we leave you guys,
yeah.
and you guys are there behind the curtain for a few minutes by yourselves.
Mm.
Um, how is that with the athletes? Do you guys talk? Do you guys just kind of sit there and breathe? What do you guys do?
We do like our little handshakes. We talk to each other. Sometimes we have our own little motivational talks with individuals, just like one on one, or we do it as a group. I know like our smaller teams, like our level three team, we're all like smaller and like closer together, and so like we do it as a group. But on our bigger team, on the level two team, we do it more as individuals. Like, but we talk to each other and things like that,
Hmm.
and we have fun. Sometimes we have our own dance parties with other gyms, and that's
Oh
fun
wow.
too. Yeah, different things, but we're not usually quiet. Or we dance around with the staff members a lot.
Yeah.
I know at nationals we did. That was fun. So we always just have fun.
Yeah, the jam staff is always fun.
Oh
That's why
yeah.
I think that's why I like that. Not to knock any other
Yeah.
places down, but jam, they just get there, they're dancing, they'll walk by you, they have a clipboard or they're, waiting and they'll talk to you, they'll
Yeah.
motivate you, they'll dance with you, they'll
Yeah.
hype you up. I love that.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, yeah, when we leave the athletes as coaches, that's a moment of it's kind of like a parent also,
Yeah.
where you drop your kid off somewhere and you're like I hope everything's okay with them. We do have those moments, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, I hope they're okay. I hope they're hyping themselves up. I hope they're breathing. I hope
Yeah.
they're just gonna come out here and have fun, because we're ready to go to the coaches station and watch. And so those moments we have as coaches also, and sometimes as coaches, I know me and Krista will get together and we're like, deep breath, we'll smile, like, it's
Yeah.
time, and all the hard work of the late nights of prepping as a coach, and thinking about your routine and how you can make things better and how you can help your athletes and how you can score the highest that you can score. Um, Reading the rule books, making sure you're doing everything correctly. All that in that moment when we leave you guys is like, well, we can't prepare no more.
Yeah.
We're done. That final mat was where we could have made corrections. We're done. Let's enjoy it. And we do. We
Yeah.
have so much fun. I love our coaches section, especially with Coach Christina and Coach Raul. They get hype. Christina will do the whole routine with you.
Yeah.
And so it's so much fun. And I've never had I've always been like this shy person, this person that's not like outspoken kind of.
Yeah.
And with cheer, holy cow, I'm like screaming, singing the song, I'm doing motions,
Yeah.
I've started to do, you just get
Sure.
into it. Oh yeah, and I get into it and I'm like so I love that moment of performing like right before you guys come on stage. It's
Yeah.
like the best feeling in the world, I feel like, where the announcer's about to announce you and the mat is dark,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, nobody's on the mat right now.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the mat and you're like, okay, when? Okay, when? And sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, okay, can you hurry up
A
because
long
I'm having
time.
an anxiety
Yeah.
attack. Yeah. And then when you guys come out and that smile and that right before and we do our little chant and yeah, that moment to me is like the what all pays off right there. All that hard work for us and like I said, late nights and stuff. That moment right there is the best feeling as a coach.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is as an athlete, but
Really, really fun
yeah,
actually. But I feel like it's really good though that we have those moments like backstage and things like that where we're really having fun and like take advantage of those moments because you don't know what's gonna happen on the mat and like if you don't have a good run, at least you can like look back at the competition and know you had a good time because you had those little moments even though you didn't hit your zero or whatever happened. Um, it's good to still have those other moments where you're still having a good time because if you're just anxious the whole time or you're not having a good time and then you have a bad run then you're just looking back at the competition just like, wow, that was just horrible. So at least to have um good times like that is good. So
yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about coming off the mat, hitting zero, hitting a clean routine, feeling so confident that everything hit. Because I know you can't see everybody.
yeah,
You're just a personal zero because you can't control anybody.
yeah,
But we have those comps where we feel like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was perfect. That was awesome for what we needed to do. That's what, we came out, we did our
yeah,
job. We have those moments, we scream. We know it as coaches. We don't know the score sheet yet, but we know we had a really, really good run. We get off the mat, we're hugging, we're excited, everybody's pumped up. Um, and then, you know, um, we see our score sheets, and sometimes that plays out in our favor and we take first. Sometimes it was like, well, we got work to do because it was really good. You guys did everything we asked you to do. You prepped really, really good. I've got to go back and I've got to give you more now. And so
yeah.
then we can, go out and score. How does that feel when you get off the mat? on those days?
Well, you feel like you're on top of the world. You just feel like you put out like everything that you could have done and all your hard work was worth it. Those practices where you're crying or you're exhausted or you go home and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't like cheer," or "This hurt my body," or "My back hurts," whatever. Or, "Oh my gosh, my coach pushed me so hard today and so I'm mad at her," or whatever it is. It's all worth it and then you just know like why you're doing your sport and like why it's worth what it is. And so it just feels it's a great feeling to feel. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, those we don't focus on the banners, but those banners and jackets and trophies and stuff are a good feeling. They
Yeah.
are, and it's okay to say we won. Enjoy that moment also because in that moment it's not like that other team sucks or you guys are horrible. We're the
Yeah.
best, but you really have to take pride in feel like this is worth it.
Yeah.
And those moments that you have right there where you win, really, really soak those up and really have fun in that moment and enjoy it
Yeah.
because you earned it. You earned that. We always talk about that piggy bank. Remember that
Yeah.
piggy bank deal? That's your reward right there. You just cashed in your piggy bank and you just bought yourself a first place banner or a jacket. And you have to enjoy those times and really like I don't know, get into those as a coach, take your pictures as an athlete, make sure you're feeling it. Don't do it negatively, right?
Yeah.
Be positive. We always because we don't win every competition here, and so we know what it feels like to win and to lose, and in those moments we do have a good time. It's like, yes, we did good, we did what we were supposed to do, we came out, we did our job, we're going home with something,
Yeah.
um let's talk about those times where you things drop, right? Uh, we don't score as high, we don't place, or we don't win. Um, what are those feelings when you're on the mat and you see that they go on that you saw something fall or it's in your stunt or whatever, and you know you didn't hit zero, and you come off that mat feeling that. How does that feel for you?
Well, if I hit my personal zero, I feel confident in what I did. But if I didn't hit my personal zero, and I'm like the deduction, well, you feel like you're the reason why your team's not gonna do well. And so it's basically the opposite. You feel like all your hard work is not like it didn't pay off because I know like I do private lessons and I'm always at the gym and I'm always working. So like if I don't hit my tumbling or my stunt comes down, I'm like what did I put all that hard work in for then? You know? And so then you just feel very defeated and like trying to keep a positive mindset and like keep your team positive is like hard, especially like because I'm one of the older athletes, so I'm like setting part of the example. So I have to really like I don't care how I feel. I have to like change what I'm thinking and like how I look and things like that. My attitude because there's little kids that are looking up to me or there's younger athletes that are like on the team and they feel good about what they're doing and I can't like push that away and be like, I don't care how you feel. Like we still didn't hit zero. You still have to just appreciate that everybody else did their job. And if I didn't do my 100% or if I didn't land my tumbling or whatever happened, then like that's on me and I just have to go in and work on it later at the gym. So I mean, you have to come back from that. You can't let it break you down, but it still is not a good feeling in the moment.
Yeah, I see those moments where, um, things are dropping and or things are not hitting, and as a coach, and you're like, oh, and
Yeah.
we try to keep the positive as the 2.5 minutes is going. You're like, keep going, keep
Yeah.
recover those scores somewhere, outperform it.
Yeah.
Let's go, because you can recover some of those points if you push a little bit harder in your routine, sometimes. But yeah, I watch. It's a hard feeling to see your team not do good and not hit, and they're coming off the mat, right? And you know, how do you, as a coach, it's like, hey, good job. And they're
Yeah.
like, good job. I just
Yeah, I just
dropped
fell.
so much. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, but you got to try to keep it positive in that moment so that we're not showing that, we break down in those moments. We got to kind of, it is what it is sometimes. And you got to like figure out in those moments, what do I have to do
Yeah.
to get better, or how am I going to prevent that next time?
Yeah.
I think, we, it's hard to deal with those moments. It's hard to be positive in the negative moments of all of that happen on the mat.
Yeah.
And if we can encourage our athletes to smile, The first thing I say, this is the first thing when they come off and I'm like, hey, 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 good job. Hey, no, pick your head up, it's okay. Did you have fun? Yeah. Okay. We have fun,
Yeah.
and at that time, I can't do nothing about it. Even if I was like, who cares about your fun? You didn't hit your routine. And
Yeah.
I can't be like that because um, it's all about the moments of having fun and enjoying the comp and enjoying the sport. And we only have 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
We didn't get a first quarter. We didn't get a halftime. You know what I mean? We don't get another game. These 2 day comps, we get an extra day, but it's another 2.5 minutes, and you got two
Yeah.
chances.
Well, and not even really two chances because your score, like
Yeah,
if you drop everything, your score does count against you because it's like only part of your score is day one and part of like the rest of your score is day two. And so like no matter if you do really bad, it's still gonna count against you. And so you want to hit both days so you make sure that you do your best and so that you do end up with a good score at the end. But yeah.
yeah, yeah. To see the negative, I mean, as an athlete, it's like, oh my God, I want to break down. And sometimes it's okay. Yeah. Have your moment really quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And give them that time to have that moment, and reflect on what happened because it's so fast, so fast. But yeah, that's hard to deal with as an athlete, as a coach. I know
Yeah.
that it just struggles sometimes to go to awards. You're the one, sometimes it's you're the one that um feel like you messed it up for your team and you're sitting there and then you got to go back to practice.
Yeah.
And the aftermath of a comp can be pretty stressful.
Yeah.
Yes, the days leading up to the first practice when you come back, um how is that?
Um.
Let's say after the competition, the awards, you go home to your hotel. How's that feel? And then you got to get up and pack and go home, and then you got a couple days before practice. What's that? How does that feel?
Well, I feel insecure about myself because I know I'm gonna go back to practice. We're gonna review the score sheets, and I'm like, the coach's gonna be like, "Well, we got these deductions." Well, yeah, that was me. But it's good if you like surround yourself with good people because like it's good to be honest with yourself and know like, yeah, you were the problem, but this is how you can come back from it. And like my coach is like, "Oh, well, if you were to change like this in your tuck, then you probably would have landed it." And then I have to just apply those corrections. And you just have to keep working for a better outcome. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's stressful. I could see it's stressful that we know when we get back and the athletes are like, "Oh my gosh, it was
yeah,
me." And I don't, it. We have to. I have to let those athletes know, not that it was your fault,
yeah,
but these are the mistakes that we made, and these are the corrections we're gonna do
yeah,
to apply to make sure we don't do that again.
yes,
And as a coach, the same way. I go back to the room, you know, I'm at the comp. We're at the comp as coaches, and here at our program, we're supporting every single team that we can. So we're
yeah,
constantly running and running and running. That's what I do all comp, and it's great because I get to be backstage. I get to help with music, all those little things that we need for two different programs and two locations. You go back to the room and you're like, oh, exhausted,
yeah,
and you start thinking right away. I start thinking. I try not to. I tell Crystal, okay, let's not talk about that right now. Like if we didn't do good that comp, even if we did good, I'm like, okay, let's enjoy it, but let's not talk about that right now. Let's kind of wind down. And
mhm,
you can't. We
yeah,
cannot stop thinking about it, and so we do. So I think about, okay, right away. Let's look at the judges' comments. Let's look at the score sheet. Let's compare it to the other teams. Let's start work, and I start working right away.
yeah,
Okay, how am I going to make this better? Even if we took first place, they're coming for us the next comp.
yeah,
You still have to do good the next comp. And so now we're preparing for the first practice, showing videos, scores. It's yeah, the aftermath. To see the kids walk in defeated or see them excited,
yeah,
those are all emotions that are really good. And I think that's why I love cheer so much. There's so much emotions involved, but there's also overcoming those emotions
yeah,
and learning how to get through that ups and downs of cheer.
yeah,
Right? We have our lows and we have our highs, and every program has it, and every team has it. You're never gonna go into a season and always hit every practice and always be perfect every practice. Something's gonna go wrong, and that's what I love about cheer.
yep,
Because any given moment, um, you can go from never winning a comp to all of a sudden you're winning, winning a comp.
yeah,
You watch these teams that always win, and now you're taking them out. And
yep,
it's like it could happen.
Yeah.
No matter how good they are, no matter how big they are, there's those moments where you know, those Rocky moments. The movie Rocky, the boxing movie. That's what I grew up on. But you have those Rocky moments all the time where it's like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can come overcome all of this stuff and still come out on top.
Yep.
Even if it's personally,
Yep.
even if you never win and your program didn't win all season. Um, Tough sometimes it is. But how did you feel? How'd you
Yeah.
feel? How are you going to come back next year? Are you going to take away good positive moments? Or are you going to be like, I'm done?
Yeah.
Don't do that, please. I don't want any athlete to ever do that. I don't want to come back because we don't win. Don't think about the wins.
Yeah.
Think about how did you progress in that season and where did you come from the beginning you walked in the doors of the first day to the last comp. How did you progress? What did you learn? Those things. Take those key moments out, right?
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I love competition. It's coming quick.
Yep.
I'm excited. I feel like we're prepared. It's the end of the season. Um, we put a lot of hard work into our routines.
Yes.
Um, I think I pushed both my teams to more than I've ever pushed them because I'm learning more.
Yeah.
Every season I learn more. I learn how to teach stunts better. I learn how to get more creative. I learn
Yeah.
different passes and how to get all of our athletes to tumble. That's one thing I'm proud of the most.
Yes.
Both of my teams, all of them tumble, and it's
And almost all of
crazy.
them are jumping too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yep. And so it's like crazy. It's like, yeah, I'm doing it, and
Yeah.
we're doing it, and this program is doing it, and I hope all other programs are feeling that too, and getting those good moments here at the very end, the last push of the season, programs out there, coaches out there, athletes. Let's try to go into the end of the season and be prepared. And like me, I want every team out there to be as prepared as I am.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I teach my
Yep.
athletes. I don't teach them like I want my athletes to be the best out there on that day against the best.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? So if a team's not prepared or we don't have a lot of competition, it's fine, but I always want the smoke. You know what they say?
Yeah.
I always want the
Me
smoke.
too,
Bring it
because
on, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
if you are competing against teams that are not competitive, then when you win, it's not really like you don't really feel good about it because you competed against teams that just didn't score well and didn't perform well or don't have the routine that they needed or whatever it is. But when you're competing in against like the best teams and then you beat the best teams or the people that you look up to or like, oh my gosh, I want to be just like them. Will you just beat the people that you aspire to be just like? And so it's just a much better feeling about it because you're like, wow, I'm better than I think I am, you know?
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
Yeah. You know, yeah, I want the teams to prepare the most and be the best that they can be on on comp day.
yeah,
That's how I want the competition to be. I don't shy away from competition. I don't want to be in a different like bracket or division or whatever you say just so I can get those wins. Because then I feel as a coach, I don't know. I could have. We could have went up against those teams and beat them, but we chose not. I don't like that.
yeah,
So I always want that. I want that for the athletes because then they're gonna feel they're gonna feel so much more appreciative when they do good against those teams. Like, last comp, we saw a team on the schedule and I said, "Great. That's awesome."
yeah,
And you can get scared and you can be like, "Oh my gosh, they win everything all the time." Or you could say, "Listen here, athletes, we have a chance to go up against the best team out there in the NA that I always see,
yeah,
and we get to see where we score against them head to head because we
yeah,
always see them, but we don't. This is we don't always get to perform against those best teams, um, and so this time we had that reality of like,
yeah,
yes, let's see how my routine stacks up against those best teams in NA, and we did
yeah,
and it was a learning experience and it was a great experience and I felt really good about our routines. I mean they're a little bit better now, so I'm excited for this next comp.
yeah.
But you get to see that, so I love it's those competitions where you go up against nobody. Those are
Participation award.
yeah, those are good. But I want to take level champ then. I want
Yeah.
to take grand champ then. If I don't have anybody against me, then that way I know I at least went up against somebody and did
Yeah.
better. Our routine stacked up against them. We won something. But you don't always get that. Sometimes there's just not a lot of teams that show up in your age division and your level, and you have to have those moments. But yeah, I hope all those teams are preparing as much as we are preparing
Yep.
for. Yeah, it's going to be a great comp, I hope. You know, Utah, I forget the town. Odom, Utah, something like that.
I
Anyways,
don't know.
yeah, we're looking forward to going. And I know everybody's in the other cheer world, right? The all-star cheer world, all the college cheer and all that
Yeah.
stuff. They got Daytona coming up in a few days. I think, I keep seeing that everybody's posting Daytona, Daytona. I know Daytona because of Netflix, right?
Yep.
Navarro.
Yep.
And so that's exciting for them. So I know a lot of high-end teams and big things are going on right now in this last week once we get this episode out.
Oh, and
So,
World's coming up too.
World's coming up.
Yeah.
Um and so yeah, prepare yourself physically, mentally. Don't do the woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
What if I did this right? What if I just did 30 more minutes? What if I just did one more full out? Right? We could have done this. Oh man, we should have.
Yeah.
So don't be those teams. Don't be those programs. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Get excited. Have fun. It's the end of the season. Start having fun. And yeah, let's have a good show for these next comps. We got Pinnacle in May.
Yep.
That's the end of
And a
ours.
showcase.
Yeah, we have a showcase that we do, and then we have Pinnacle.
Yep.
And I
That's
love Pinnacle.
me too.
Yeah, we've done good at Pinnacle. My teams have done good at Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Our program's done good at Pinnacle. I'm always excited because that's the end and that's like the last. Like that you've put all that work in and let's see where it goes.
Yep.
And usually we get through it. And
Well, it's 2 days this year, so it's gonna
two
be a little
days.
different, but
Yes.
we'll
These
see.
these 2-day comps are exciting,
Yeah,
you know?
different. So
Yeah. Yeah. Tiring. But guess what I'm doing? Preparing
preparing,
myself. I am
leaving with
preparing.
no regrets.
Yeah. I
Yep.
start walking around my house 37 miles a day,
Wow. There you are.
running back and forth, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you need me to do music? And then I'll just run in the kitchen really fast and act like, yeah, anyways. But yeah, prepare yourself because the more we're prepared, I think we'll have a better outcome and then you
Yeah.
won't have regrets.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's good.
Like it.
So make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. We haven't had a lot of comments, and I would like to hear what you guys think about it.
Yeah.
And I would like to, about our podcast, about what we talk about, what kind of topics you guys would like us to talk about. We're gonna be putting special guests on pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's exciting. We did get some comments on that, and we had some people reach out, some coaches and some people in the cheer world that really want to reach out and talk to us
Yeah.
and like what we're doing. So that's good. Keep those coming in. We're gonna try to fill everybody in that we can, um, and make sure you share. Get this out there.
Yes.
Help us get this out there. We'd appreciate that. We are on Instagram, the Dynamic Duo 2. All these are in the description, so if you need to click on those. We're on TikTok. We're going to be putting out a lot of content on TikTok soon. And we're on Spotify, so if you can't watch this, you can at least listen to it in your car on the way to practice. Hey, you can listen to us at comp backstage when you're getting ready. Yeah, when you're
Yeah, you
just
can.
sitting waiting and you're just in those moments. Hey, listen to Cheer with Me with a Dynamic Duo. But yeah, we're on, and then we're on, of course, we're on YouTube. So, follow us, like, and we'll keep on pushing these out there,
Yep.
right?
Can't
Every
wait.
Sunday, except for last Sunday. But no, we'll be good. So, we will see you next
Next time.
time.
Where's our high five?
Ready?
Oh, okay.